Good afternoon on this Monday. I'm Beth Rickliff. I'm a life insurance sales director with IAMS, and today I'm excited to have Diana Caprice with us from Snappy Kraken. I really love this marketing idea with Snappy Kraken. It's got a lot of great things to incorporate. Either if you aren't doing a lot to streamline your marketing or you're looking for more management on that, Snappy Kraken is definitely something to be looking at. We do have new agents that are on the line with us, as well as advisors that have done business with us for a while. So I'm going to spend like 5 minutes just going over the reasons why to do business with IAMS, and then I will turn this presentation over to Diana. So thanks for joining us. First off are the reasons, if you're a new agent, to do business with IAMS, and we do that as cash incentives or prizes with the production that you submit with us in your first 6 months of business with IAMS. There's different premium levels. What you're looking at right now are the levels for annuity premium. So 100,000 of annuity premium gets you your choice of a 15-piece postcard mailer, iPad, cash, and that equivalent in life insurance premium would be 10,000 of target premium. Of course, it can be a combination of those production with annuities and life insurance to accomplish those. And the more that you produce in that 6 months, you get better cash and prize incentives to take advantage of. We also want to, well, our business is a lot like yours in that referrals are our best, are the best thing that can happen to us. If you like doing business with us and you refer a friend, it is a great compliment, and we offer a $50 one-time bonus when you refer an agent, and we also offer some overrides on their production. That is not a haircut on their production or anything like that. That is right out of IAMS' pocket. I have a lot of agents that utilize this and then every so often cash in, and they use that for marketing and other things. So that's a nice incentive for referring somebody over to us. We would certainly appreciate it. We also have marketing reimbursement dollars. So for every 100,000 of annuities, that's going to earn you $100 of marketing reimbursement. And we make that even a little bit better with single premium life insurance. 100,000 of single premium life is $200, and for every 10,000 of target, it is $200. We live off of our back office support. We want the cases to go from start to finish with us. So that's going to start with case design that you have with your sales directors, getting you all the right forms and contracting done with our contracting team. And then we want to get it into new business and follow that case with kid gloves from start to finish until you're paid, because, of course, we don't get paid unless we've got the case placed and so forth. We have a couple of ways of submitting business. Before COVID, I know it seemed like everyone did paper applications and few people did electronic applications, and COVID kind of forced us in this world that we had to transition and learn how to do applications by through the internet. That actually turned out to be quite a good thing, because there are less mistakes that are made when we go through an electronic platform. We notice that cases go through quicker through underwriting and get placed faster. So Firelight is primarily for annuity companies, although Allianz, National Western, and a few others use Firelight. The other one that isn't mentioned here is we do IGO EAP, which are fairly almost all the life insurance companies that we have. You can see kind of the breakdown here of all the annuity companies that offer Firelight. Now, in order to use Firelight, you do want to go to IAMSinc.com and register for Firelight. For IGO EAP Solutions, that covers most of the life insurance carriers, you don't have to do that. We have a wonderful creative marketing team that has everything that you can think of to engage clients, whether it's social media, business cards, professionally written articles, etc. One thing to take advantage of, whether you're a brand new agent with us or you've been with IAMS for a while, is to get with one of your marketing sales director, whether it's life insurance or annuities, and go ahead and do a marketing analysis. What that takes a look at is where you are currently with your marketing. It also takes a look at where you want to be with marketing. And I think that that's a great exercise to do. We have our creative marketing team, when you send that back into us, come up with a complete plan and then send it back to the sales director to talk about. It is something that I think with the presentation that Diane is about to present, their program takes care of a lot of things that can be done with your ongoing marketing, but do take advantage of that marketing analysis. Get with one of your life sales directors, life or annuities. It's a free service, definitely worth the time to do that. We have our website, which I love. You can do everything on this website, from pulling forms, quoting term and guaranteed universal life. One thing that I take advantage of is under the support tab, there's a sales resource library, which has so much information, calculators, articles, fact finders, all sorts of things. You can find all of our webinars here on IAMSinc.com, and then, as we mentioned before, submitting cases through Firelight or through IGO EAP. Another piece of the puzzle is adding IAMS Wealth Management to your business. Either maybe you are already in a position where you are managing money, or maybe are interested in getting into managed money. We can help you from the basics of getting your Series 65 to an experienced role with wealth management. Throughout the year, this year has been exceptional with our life and annuity academies. A lot of those things had to be placed on hold when we were going through COVID. Now, emerging out of that, we're able to do life and annuity academies. There are about 2.5 days of training that you hear from the top insurance carriers, the top producers, to learn new sales ideas and things to implement into your practice. I would say we have them going about every 2 months that we're doing a life and annuity academy. They're sponsored by various different life insurance companies. If you're interested in attending that, our next one coming up is in September, so there's still time to register for that. You just want to get with one of your life or annuity sales directors, and they can help you with getting to the link to register for that training. It is all expense paid, so we take care of the flight, hotel, the food, everything like that. Definitely an important thing. If you want to take advantage of that, get with one of the life sales or annuity sales directors. What is showing right now is Greenbrier, which was our incentive trip, and that closed at the end of June. We should be announcing our next trip here shortly, but just a reminder that we do offer an incentive trip for the business that you're doing with us. If you have any questions about the qualifications on that, get with one of the sales directors and they can help. Let's see. And then as it's important that following us on Facebook and LinkedIn. We are always posting articles, webinars, things like that to stay to give you the right information, what's going on in the industry and in the market. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and change this over to Diana.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. That was super informative. It's always nice to hop on these webinars and just hear, what advisors have going on, what your agents have going on, and that sales training sounds fantastic. We focus a lot on marketing on our side, but I think an area that's often overlooked is, the sales skill, right? That's such a complement to what we're doing, and it's going to help improve everyone's outcomes overall. So sounds like an awesome program. I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to move into marketing education. I want to help everyone on the call today really drive forward a scalable process in their marketing that is proven by data. That's most important, right? But that will also help you strengthen all of your relationships, whether it's prospects or whether it's clients, both. So I'm super excited, and some of you that are on the call, you probably saw some of the emails that came through and dove a little bit into what we're going to be talking about. So let's see if we can share my screen here. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to dive right into how to 5x your return on your marketing spend and how to move prospects from cold to gold. So let's see, main screen. All right, can you see that correctly?
I can see it.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, thank you again for having me. It's great to be in partnership with IAMS and all of the amazing advisors and financial professionals that we've gotten to connect with. Some of you might have heard my voice before. I think this is probably the third webinar we've done together. And it's very evident to me that in this organization, there's a lot of passion and care and importance placed around marketing, which is very refreshing because I've worked with a lot of firms in my career in financial services, and I can tell you the ones that heavily invest at the home office level, right? They're a true partner to you as a professional in the marketing space, are the firms that always succeed and grow the fastest. So thanks again for having me. Let's dive into the meat and potatoes of today's presentation. Now, we designed this webinar for both existing Snappy Kraken members, and there may be some of us on the line today, and if you are, hello, and for guests, so hello to you too. If you've never used Snappy Kraken or you don't know, who we are, there's an important reason for that. We know that for current members, we probably only have about 25% of you getting the full value of our platform. So even though you use the tool, you're happy with it, you share your wins here and there, we actually know you can get more benefit. And for the rest of you just joining us as guests, we're going to explain a lot of the strategy that goes into turning cold traffic, right, from many different sources, to being really excited about you and excited about doing business with you traffic, right, from cold to gold. We promise to show you how you can 5x your growth, and in fact, the data we have, it'll show you how you can more than 5x your growth today. So I'm really excited to dive in. Now, what are we going to cover? There's a few different agenda items here, and I'm going to share with these items with some of you. Now, the very first thing is clear, right? It's right in the title. How do the top 25% of advisors more than 5x their return on marketing? These aren't just Snappy Kraken advisors. There's a lot of data built into this from the industry and from marketing stats across financial services. These are some of the top performing advisors in the world. The second is the email strategy that gets 14.31% better results. We're going to dive into that in that entire process. Our best strategy for keeping your pipeline full. We're going to talk about which type of campaigns warm prospects up the fastest and which high converting content gets the most engagement and the most leads. I'm going to have to do something really quick here. There we go. Okay. I couldn't see my screen. There we are. So which high converting content gets the most appointments? Now, one of the reasons why this is such an important topic and everything I'm going to show you today is because if you've looked at the way advisors typically have grown, and maybe this is true of you, you're accustomed to getting referrals. And this is awesome, right? Referrals are great because they're already warmed up a bit, right? There's more credibility there because someone they know referred them. There's a trust component. They'll be usually easier and faster to close. Everyone wants more referrals. We're all for this. But if you're not able to completely grow and sustain your business exclusively from your referrals, then you're going to need to create more top of the funnel awareness and business. What do we know about top of the funnel awareness? It's cold traffic, right? Those people don't know you that well. They don't trust you that much yet. So what happens is instead of it being like a warm handoff or a referral, maybe even somebody, if you're hosting seminars or events of some sort, somebody that shook your hand in person, right? It's going to be different than that. The starting point is different. The starting point is more cold. So if we want to get to the same end goal, which is getting new clients, then we're going to have to take a different approach. We're going to have to take a different path and a different cycle. And I'm talking digital versus in person, right? I'm talking digital versus a referral that came from a client or a friend or a family member. Again, same end goal, but different path to get us there. Now we're going to start with understanding what our cold to gold framework is. If you remember, you've seen this everywhere. It's probably ingrained in your brain at this point, but if you're not, this might be new and fresh. We're going to dial in. Now, the stages that you're seeing here in this framework, I want you to think of this as a relationship stage. So online, when someone finds your website or they see your social post, or they see you're running an ad, they just got exposure to you. You just achieved step one. You got noticed. But that's only step one. So this framework is going to teach us how do you go from getting noticed to then getting that contact information that you want so you can keep marketing to them. And through that marketing, build credibility and then start conversations, insert your sales process, and then win the client. But then even further deepen the relationship, right? How do you go from getting noticed to deepening the relationship with your marketing? It is very doable, folks. There's a few factors that are going to make you successful: technology, time, investment, mental, your mental state, how you really see all of this. We're going to talk about it all today. Now, that getting noticed stage, you'll see underneath it says bold, unique, and strategically designed content that grabs attention. That's what it's going to take. We are inundated with ads and posts and emails and calls and texts and all of the things. Our brains couldn't possibly take it all in. And I can actually showcase this in real time. I want you to think about how your shirt feels on your back right now. A few seconds ago, you probably weren't thinking about that at all. I just called your attention to it. What do we learn from activities like that? And there's so many more we can do, but I want to stay on track with time. We learn that we can only focus on so much at once by design. Otherwise, again, our brains would melt. So if you want to stand out on a social feed, if you want to stand out in an inbox, if you want your content to get clicked on before somebody else's content, it has to be different. It has to be scroll stopping. That's what we call it. Not show stopping, scroll stopping. If it's not scroll stopping, you're just going to blend in with everyone else. So that's what we're doing here at Snappy Kraken. And again, whether you use us or not, you're going to find a lot of value in what we're sharing with you today. And if you're creating your own content, just know that you need to have really good designers. You need to have really curiosity evoking copy, and you need to be different. As you are different, you get noticed, and then you have something compelling and relevant to any given person that causes them to share their information with you, their email address, their phone number. And you can take that, plug it into an amazing system like SnappyKraken or your own if you're doing this on your own, and start educating these people, nurturing them. Over time, you warm them up that way. When you get that opportunity and they book that call on your calendar, or they come into your office, then you can really put your sales process in and win the client. And now you want to focus on deepening that relationship. What happens when we deepen that relationship with that client? Look what you see at the bottom there. We're going to start to continue driving more referrals. You see how it's actually just one big circle? It's all connected. So from cold to gold, this is how you get it done. And we're going to focus on these first 4 stages throughout the rest of today's webinar. Let's start with that very first one, getting noticed. So guys, awareness is where everything starts, right? Awareness is where you finally have some opportunity because people know you exist. But again, leads are still cold here. There's not a lot of trust built. There's a lot of ways that you can generate awareness. Now, I'm going to look at some of these ways with you, right? We have pay-per-click advertising. And if you were in person right now, I'd say raise your hand if you're running ads, and probably one person in the room would raise their hand. We have organic social. Many of you are probably using social in some way so that you can get content out to your followers. Client referrals, network referrals, media promos. You can certainly buy leads. You can host events. Right, you sort of start to think of this as a multi-channel approach to filling your pipeline. Here's what I'm getting at. It's very important not to just rely on one source. Look at these options here. Look at these channels and ask yourself if you're just using one or maybe none. Even here at SnappyKraken, right, we make it very clear we don't do all of these things for you. We don't sell leads like a smart asset, for example. We don't provide network leads like, maybe IAMS provides some leads here and there, right? We don't do media for you like PR companies do. That's okay. It's okay to know we're not the only solution, that you should diversify, but we will help you create as much awareness as possible on the channels that we do work on. This is just a basic principle, right? Create as much awareness as you can. The more awareness you create, the more opportunities you're going to have. You're really widening and opening the top of the funnel so you can get more people in. You have more of a pool to attract people. There is data that backs this up. In fact, you're going to find a lot of data peppered into the rest of this presentation because data is important. Now, we don't lean on data for everything. There's creative, there's intuitiveness. That is a very big part of marketing and business, but we do lean on it when we can. And we know this is actually coming from Lead Forensics. I believe they're based out of New York City. I could be confusing them, but businesses using 4 or more of the digital channels that I just showed you will outperform those using single or dual channels by 300%. So that basically means if you're at least using 4 or more of those channels, you'll triple your results. You'll triple your pipeline. Now, I just mentioned we're really big on data. You may or may not know this. We do publish a marketing benchmark report every year. We take all the thousands of campaigns our advisors launch, turns into millions of data points, and we look at our best performing campaigns, audiences, channels. One of the data points we collect from looking back on all the top of funnel traffic for advisors is traffic source. And we've realized that as advisors have really moved online primarily, a lot of you feel that you 100% need to be on social media, right? Do you feel that way? You can probably relate to this. And by the way, feel free to jump in the chat, the Q&A box. Feel free to engage with me. I know I can't see you, can't see me, but it would be great to engage a bit. So you might relate to that. Yeah, I've been told social is important, so I post here and there. Well, it's important. Yes, it is important. But what we found is that only about 9% of total traffic was coming from organic social traffic or search engine traffic. So if you're just using social media organically and you're not getting the traffic you want, you might want to think about what other avenues or options do I have? If you're only posting to your following, those are the only people that can see it. But how can we take that post and get it in front of way more people people that don't know me, because the data shows that's what it's going to take if you really want to grow at the rate that you want to grow at. I'm going to show you a few ways that you can optimize this. Now, we do run ads, and we have run ads for a few years for advisors. I will say at this very moment, we are at cap with the amount of advisors we're working with in the program, but that changes every month. I hope that's a show to quality over quantity for us. We would rather make sure we give every advisor's business the right amount of focus so we can generate that pipeline. And then again, as we move forward and grow and scale, we'll continue opening it up at certain periods for more advisors. But this is helpful to you regardless if you work with us or not, because you can be doing this on your own, or you might have someone in your office who is experienced in running Facebook ads. Now, these are just 3 ad examples. These are some of our top performing ads. And what we see here are a few things. Number one, these images themselves are quite bold and unique, like that big elephant in the room on Social Security, or how bright and in your face that contrast is on free retirement checklists. Even the colors are super highlighted. But what we do on top of that is we add some direct response copy. You've all probably seen ads in your feed. What you don't see a lot with ads beyond the image itself or the video itself is the description, what you're seeing here on top. You certainly don't see a lot of people running ads that are saying, hey, call me, here's my number, or text me, or visit my website, or hey, if you're in the area, let's talk. The beauty of advertising, folks, is that you can actually use the data on these platforms to target exactly who you want to target. So let's say you're in Atlanta, Georgia, and you want to just target retirees in Atlanta, Georgia. That caption at the very top, it should say Atlanta, Georgia, pre-retirees and retirees. And then you dive directly into your value prop, and then you wrap it up with a phone number. It shows a lot of authenticity in a world where ads are almost always just focused on getting you to click, right? It doesn't always feel very personal or like there's a person behind the ad. This really changes that. There's also something to be said about the localizing piece. So if you've ever seen an ad that spoke directly to you, like the other day I was scrolling and it says millennials in SaaS in Denver, Colorado. I'm like, oh, that's literally me. And it just resonated and it hits me. Now, I wasn't necessarily interested in the ad, but look how effective that copy was for me and for the brain. So that's the point here. We add copy. We want to personalize it as much as possible. Take ads from being just very impersonal to having a real person behind them. You will see your results skyrocket. Sorry about that. All right. Gotta love Zoom. It bothers you even when you tell it not to bother you. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about filtering and gating. And there's a reason I'm bringing this up now. Now, I'm not a scientist, okay, but when we study marketing science, which is very important, neuromarketing, neuroscience for our profession, we learn about the thalamus gland in the back of the brain. And naturally, whenever it sees something that it has seen before, so not unique, not bold, not fresh, it actually pushes these things to the side. Right? And this is what I was saying earlier. If it's not different, it's not going to stop someone's scroll, but we're going deeper. It's actually because the brain is designed that way. Now, what about something that is new, is fresh, does stand out, does evoke curiosity? It's actually going to pull that stuff forward. This is a real thing. It's called filtering and gating. Scrollers, they need something to hit them differently. Right? When you do marketing, you study behavior, you study psychology, all of this goes together. I'm going to show you an example of this. I'm going to let you take it in for a second. Now, this is one of my favorite examples of filtering and gating. The image you see on the left, I can bet my money that most of you on this webinar have already seen it before. It's used all the time. In fact, we were meeting with some advisors last week, and I said, show me your website. Let's do a health check on your website. This was their cover image on their website. it's stock, right? Everyone's seen it. Our brains have seen it a million times. Oh, we're in a bear market, or oh, markets are going a wire. Now we have this classic gold-plated bear and bull image. The image on the right, we created. We do a lot of custom illustration at Snappy Kraken, and for good reason. It's definitely unstock. It's surprising to some people. It will get people to stop because they haven't seen it before. It's fresh, it's unique, especially when it's tied to a really strong offer or message about bear markets. It definitely gets engagement. In fact, this was one of our top performing social images when we released this, I believe 18 months ago. Top performing. That's why it's in my presentation. So again, you have to focus on what gets results versus playing it safe. And sometimes you as an advisor, you won't agree with it. You won't agree with your own marketing, but you listen to the experts because it's all about things that you may not necessarily grasp or even feel comfortable with. And then you see the performance and you start to trust us a bit more. This happens all the time. We have some really weird looking campaigns. Advisors push back, they end up launching, and they get great results. So just make sure, folks, that all of the elements within your awareness tactics, which is what I'm showing you here, that's circled in red. I'll talk about this diagram in a second. But make sure that when you're trying to get noticed across email, social, your website, advertising, whatever it might be, we talked a little bit about everything today, that the content is bold, it stands out, and it's different. That's how you get the attention. But remember from that second slide, getting attention, getting notice, it's just step one, right? Awareness itself is not enough. You can create a ton of brand awareness, but at some point, you've actually got to move people from just noticing you to actually engaging with you. And that's where we're really going to move into this next phase, right? The engagement phase, the earning contacts phase. Now, this diagram is pulled directly from our platform. It is exactly how we create our lead gen campaigns, which are designed to help you get noticed, earn contacts, even do some credibility building. You might even get an appointment. It's almost taking us 4 steps down that cold to gold framework, or it might not. It really depends on the audience. Now, what you're seeing now circled is when we actually start to get that contact information. We take them from I got noticed to now I got a lead, or I got an opt-in. Now, the way that we build campaigns, and really the way that everyone should build campaigns, is that there has to be a concept that's relevant to a specific audience, okay, that has a specific objective and that accomplishes a specific purpose. When we're talking about lead gen, it's not enough to just, put out this sort of middle of funnel content like an article and that's it, and you don't get any responses, so you don't get any leads, right? Just because it is educational does not mean you're going to get the opt-in. We've got to actually create some awareness around what that educational piece is, right? And then we've actually got to get them opted in. So there needs to be what we call strong calls to action, okay? We're going to talk through what that looks like. Now, if I am, at this phase, I'm a prospect, I'm on this landing page that I have circled here because I saw your email or I saw your ad or your social content and I clicked on it, okay? Now I am going to land on that page. And at this phase, once people have become curious enough to click, right, and now they're to a place where we're going to get them to opt in, this is where we have to be really smart about the way we approach them. Because it's very different than having a referral sent your way or then hosting a seminar and sharing a bottle of wine or a dinner with someone. It is different. So let's look at how that should flow. I pulled a real campaign example. This one was our retirement income teeter-totter campaign. And this is that landing page that I have circled here, right? So that very top page, this is exactly what that looks like. So what happens when they click? They land here. Now you'll notice this is not a page on your website. This is actually just a standalone page, and there's a few things that really make this work well. So why aren't we sending them to your website right now? Don't we want them to learn more about you? You work so hard on that website. We do want them to know more about you. We do want them to see your website if it looks great, but not yet. They clicked on that post because it talked about something they were interested in, which is retirement. They didn't click on a post because they want to see your bio and everybody on your office staff, which is what they're going to get on your website. There's a lot of disconnect there. And if you look at the page here, guys, you'll see there's one call to action button, read now. That's how we're going to get the opt-in. If we would have just routed them to your website, you know how many buttons are on a website? You know how many calls to action? Too many different pages. That's how you lose leads, right? That's how you lose opportunities. So instead, we build a laser-focused landing page. Let's talk about what makes it successful. There's an audience call out. You may or may not be able to see this very well. I'll read it to you. It's right at the top of the page. A must read for retirees or soon to be retirees. Boom. I know this is for me. It's got a curiosity evoking headline. Retirement income teeter. What is a retirement income teeter totter? I have no idea what that is, right? That's that curiosity evoking headline. It just asks, it made us question what it is. It speaks to the desired end result. So if you can see those 3 check marks, we're literally telling them, hey, by downloading this guide, you're going to have 3 fundamentals to helping you create steady income. You're going to know how to approach the critical transitioning phase, and you'll have 26 questions to help you sustain your standard of living. What we just did there, folks, was we immediately gave them what their transformation was going to be. We didn't give them information, we gave them transformation. That's what people buy into. It's simple, it's uncluttered, this is key, and there's a bold, clear call to action. I'll share one other cool thing with you. We don't usually get too deep like this, but while we're on for the ride, people read these pages like a Z or a backwards C, if you will. And so that's how they're designed. There's a reason the button is where it is. There's a reason the image is where it is. The audience call out is where it is. We use tools like heat maps. We know exactly where people are moving their cursor, how long they're spending on certain parts of a page, and we build these with that intelligence in mind. Okay. We're going to move on to what happens when they click the Read Now button. So right now, they don't know you yet or necessarily trust you, right? So we only want to ask for a few things here. First name, last name, email address. That is it. This is not the time and place to ask them for their salary or their liquid assets. No. If we start asking for that right now, the chances of them opting in just decrease significantly. Because again, it's not the same. They're colder. So we have to be a little more gentle and not ask for too much. When they opt in, what we're starting to do now is we will deliver on our promise. Okay, that is the guide that we offered them. They can start reading and even hit their inbox. But this is where we're also going to tease an appointment. Now, the chances of people booking a meeting this early, right, when they're not really in the lead list yet, you haven't really been nurturing them for a long time, right? This is very top of funnel starting point. It's pretty low, and that's okay. Lead gen campaigns aren't necessarily about getting appointments. They're about filling your pipeline. Then we'll convert them to appointments later. But we do want to plant the seed. So that's what we're doing right there. Free one-on-one steady income session. If they click that button, it routes them to another form. It goes to you in your inbox. And now you have a meeting on your calendar or being requested. So it's getting warmer. Now we can ask for a little bit more information. Now, I ran you through that entire process. We call that a landing opt-in page. Then we move to a tripwire page. And then eventually we can help them deliver on that meeting request or that guide. I took you through that because I can tell you today that we are the only marketing program built for advisors that have our funnels built in this way. We're the only ones creating tripwire pages. And we know when we look at our data versus industry average data, when you create your flows like this, when you use all those tactics, the simplicity, the bold call to action, the transformation, the difference in conversion, right? The difference in pipeline growth is quite significant. Average landing page conversion rates are about 2.35%. It should still be around there. Feel free to Google that and check me. And then Snappy Kraken average landing page conversion rate is 12.53%. That's pretty significant in a difference. Again, it goes to speak to the marketing intelligence that's get puts into these campaigns and the data that backs it. Now, you just saw one campaign. Many times when we start to work with advisors, they'll ask us, Diana, what is the best campaign I should launch right now? Right? What are your top campaigns? Which campaign is going to get me the best results? Now, these are all valid questions. I would be asking them if I were an advisor paying Snappy Kraken. But all of these questions also teach us that most of the time we're worried about that one best campaign or that one best strategy. Here's the reality. Everyone is different. Everyone is in a different life stage. Everyone has different backgrounds and experiences. Everyone has different problems. Now, of course, if you've identified your target audience, you can start to identify what those things look like for them, and then you use content that speaks best to that. But either way, it's never going to be that one campaign that's going to do it all for you. And this is why it is so important for you to diversify your portfolio of marketing content. Right? Just like you're having your clients diversify, you want to do the same here. So let's look at the data, right? What we learned from the data is that the top performing campaign last year, How Scams Fool Smart People and How to Avoid Being Taken, only accounts for 29% of the pipeline growth, right? Only accounts for 29% of the opportunities we built. Then you have the do's and don'ts to help safeguard your retirement future. That one came in second. The third at 11% of the opportunities driven, the 3 pillars of successful retirement plans, and so on and so on. This teaches us that you need that portfolio. If you only rely on that one, you're missing out on a percentage of opportunities that you could be getting had you diversified a bit. When we see advisors that get burned by, big marketing agencies, they're going to charge you 15 grand for one campaign, right? And then the economy changes or the market changes and all you have is that one campaign. It's sad, right? It's frankly robbing you of opportunity. So we're very big on this. We're passionate about it. Again, my takeaway here is diversify your marketing strategy, diversify your portfolio of content. It will take you much, much further. Another thing this starts to teach you folks is as you start to use different campaigns that have different offers, you can see which ones really stick with your audience, right? And then you can hone in on that and maybe scale back elsewhere and continue leveraging content that speaks to that purpose, that really moves the needle for you and your audience. Now, we are at a point in the webinar where we are getting close to wrapping up. There's a few more things that I want to share with you that I know are very important to your success, but let's just take a pause for a second. What have we learned so far, right? We've talked about getting noticed, driving awareness, how important it is, how different you have to be. And then moving that into actually getting engagement, right? That's our goal. We want engagement. We don't just want to get noticed. And as you get that engagement, you start to create opportunities, all right? You launch a campaign, maybe you got 50 new leads in that campaign. And now we're moving into the building credibility slide. This is where we usually hear advisors say, thanks for the lead. Now, what the heck do I do with them? Where do I put these people next? I don't know what to do. I need to scale this. These are all really good problems to have. So we're going to talk about that next. Now, the first thing that we're going to accomplish before we dive into that is your mindset. I said that in the beginning of the webinar. Your mindset is so crucial to your success. Let's say you launch that campaign, you get those 50 opportunities. Well, they're not gold yet. They're still cold, right? We don't think of them as gold up front. We think of that as an opportunity, like a handshake. right? If you're in person, think of that lead as a handshake. And now we got to do some work to get them to go further with us. Right? You don't sign the deal on a handshake in person. Same thing online. It's the very small beginning of a relationship. Between a handshake and a contract, there's a lot of things that go on in the middle. So once you get these initial subscribers, these initial emails, they give you their information, you've just increased your chances of them giving you more. You're one step closer to them giving you more and more and more until they're a client. That's good news. But we have to think of them as a volley versus a touchdown, right? We just started a volley back and forth. We didn't get a huge touchdown, not yet. So that's the mindset shift that I would like everyone here to really make when you are engaging online and trying to build pipeline and trying to grow your business online. Now that they have opted in here, right? Now we obviously can see that they got their guide, they got that promise, right? We delivered on that promise. That's really, really important. You have to deliver on that promise. Right? And after delivering on that promise, there's also a way to keep the volley going. That's what we want to do. That's what we're going to focus on now. You can see what I've circled here. We actually have 3 to 4 auto responses just built into our campaigns. These are going to go out for you automatically. By the way, all the content we write feels as though you wrote it yourself. That is why advisors that move from other tools onto Snappy, the first thing they say is, I've never gotten this many responses. Well, we're not just having you recirculate third-party content all day. We're creating stuff that feels as though you sat down and created it yourself. And what's happening in these follow-ups, right? We're just reminding them, hey, there's an offer to meet with you one-on-one. We're keeping you top of mind. We want to make sure they got that guide, see if they have any questions. We do keep it short and sweet here. We also want to keep them coming back for more by not giving away too much in the beginning. So what do I mean about this? We're actually going to talk about a movie really quickly. Now, movies are great at leaving cliffhangers at the end, right? Especially if there's a sequel involved and they want you to engage with it. And I'm actually going to speak to a movie now. Most of us have seen it. If you haven't, spoiler alert, Batman versus Superman, right? That image, we knew Superman was killed, but yet at the very end of the movie, he's in the coffin, and right before the cut of the scene, we start to see the dirt moving around a bit, right? It's shifting on top of the coffin. And now we know Clark Kent's actually not dead, and now we really have to see that next movie, right? Great marketing does the same thing, folks. What you want to do in anything that you're providing educational offer, right? We want the offer to tease that end result. We don't want to give it all away. We want you coming back for more. How do we do this? I will show you here in action. When that prospect opted in on that campaign I took you through, this is exactly what they're getting in return. This is the one page of the many pages in the guide that we built for you. They're called lead magnets internally. What we do is we answer all the things that we sort of talked about in the marketing. We deliver on our promise, but then we ask a lot of questions in return. And what happens is they start going through these questions and they realize this goes deeper than I can handle. I need professional support with my situation. And clearly this person is an expert because they're thinking about this very deeply, as you all are. Right? So that's what I mean by don't give it all away, keep them coming back for more. The whole purpose of these lead magnets is to get them to eventually book that meeting, build some credibility with you in the meantime. Whether that happens on this campaign or campaign number 10 is completely up to the prospect. Sometimes it's not about them not being interested. It's just it's not the right time for them. That's why we never want to give up on a prospect. Unless the email is bouncing, keep them on your list, keep nurturing them. So how do you really nurture them properly, right? You take them through an entire lead gen campaign. All they did was download the guide. They didn't book an appointment. What can I do next to really keep this conversation going, to keep that volley going back and forth? Well, that's what you're seeing here on the right-hand side, right? You've got to follow up a lead gen campaign with an appropriate nurturing campaign. This is where we compare our top performing advisors to the rest on our program specifically, the ones who are following up with a conversion and a nurturing campaign absolutely get better results than those who just drop off with the leads after the lead gen campaign, right? Because what happens now, this 8-week series of emails, right? They're designed to make more offers, right? Open more loops, and hopefully push them back into a bottom of the funnel conversion, which again is an appointment request for you. And as these go out, guys, every single email is just like another volley. Let's go deeper into what that looks like and what it doesn't look like, most importantly, because this is another big area where I've talked to so many advisors or professionals in the space, whether you're securities licensed or not. And my question is, well, what do you follow up with your leads with? And they all have the same response. I throw them on the company newsletter. It's too soon for that. Your company newsletter is designed to be from the company to an audience of people. Everyone knows that. So there's nothing special for them. There's nothing that makes them feel as though you sat down and followed up with them one-on-one. And what happens is they just drown out with the rest of the pool. So instead, what this conversion nurturing email series looks like is just personal text-based emails. There's no template, there's no colors. We don't need any of that. We just need an email, a very personally looking email. And again, they're written to feel as though you sat down and wrote it yourself. You're trying to get these people to engage in a dialogue, right? So how do you expect them to engage in a dialogue when you just immediately start sending them things that they know is going to everyone else on your list? Now, how do you really get focused, right? We know everybody that just opted into that retirement income campaign would probably want to continue hearing about retirement strategies. Well, the great news is that for every lead gen campaign on any given topic, we have a prospect nurturing email series that is on that same topic, right? So in this case, we would subscribe them to a nurturing campaign on retirement income because we know that's why they were interested in the first place. You can start to do this. Remember that portfolio I talked about? That's the beauty of it, because then you really start to see who's coming in on what, and then you start to segment them and make sure you keep hitting them with content relevant to their interests. This is where in the beginning of the call, I mentioned I was going to show you a way to get 14.31% higher open rates in your emails. This is it. Segmenting your leads based on their interests and then following up with them with things that you know they're interested on. And you can do that, all of that within our system automatically. It's very simple. Now, because of purposes of time, I am going to move ahead here. My biggest point on this slide, folks, was that email is still a very, very strong driver of conversion. If there's anyone out there telling you email is dead, it's overwhelming, they're completely wrong. Yes, it's overwhelming. It's just about the way you email, the frequency you email, how your subject line evokes curiosity. Now, this will certainly start to shift. We're seeing more and more text messaging being a high conversion channel. Of course, we got to get compliance on board, so I'm not instructing any of you here to start texting, but it is true. It's starting to shift, but as of today, it's still your highest converting channel. So that is the reason why we're recommending using email here to follow up with those leads. But what if you follow up with them? They go through 49 days of your email sequence and they still don't book a meeting. What else can you do? Simply put, folks, get on video. This is the time, if you're not already, to start getting on video. And what do you say? Well, you can just be genuine, be authentic. Use your phone if you have to. It's better than nothing. And you can just tell them, hey, I know you've been in my subscriber list. Thank you. Really value your time and your interest in financial education. I know you've been getting my emails, but I thought I'd introduce myself a little bit more personally. And yes, we have a campaign where you can insert this and it makes it really, really simple to follow up with these leads. So that is the complete strategy, folks. We just took you from cold to gold, from lead gen to nurturing to now hitting them with that personal video. As you can see, there's no one lever to pull here. It takes a strategy. And the beauty of working with Snappy Kraken, again, going back to that portfolio, What if they don't ever end up converting through that entire series I just showed you? Well, that's okay. We have new offers to try because maybe they're not that interested in retirement income strategies, but the market took a hit and they're feeling a loss in their portfolio. You hit them with an investor recovery report and bam, they're on your calendar. Or maybe I'm a woman and so far none of your content's really done a good job of speaking to me, and you hit me with that unlock your women's money blocks and bam, I'm ready to talk to you. And over time, folks, you can hit them with different offers and then you can put them on your newsletter list. Then and only then, if you've taken them through that entire strategy at least once and they didn't book a meeting, now I'd start hitting them with the company newsletter. And ours are really, really engaging. They're highly shared pieces. You can see some examples here. We love our newsletter content. You might be thinking this is a lot. You might even be wondering, well, how many emails should I be sending a week? I'm going to tell you that now. The psychological element here, folks, is that repeated exposure over time to a brand, to an offer, to a person, to a business increases preference over time. This is basic psychological principles. This is not me getting all woo with you. It's called the mere exposure effect, and we confirm it with our data. Our top performing advisors send on average 4.3 emails to their contacts each month. Okay? Our average performing advisors only send 1.6. So that's about 1 email a week versus 1 email a month. And you can see here the difference in the leads that they generate per campaign. Same content, different frequency, more offers, getting to know your list, your audience, and tweaking along the way. So let's summarize, and I'm going to show you where you can learn more about Snappy Kraken. I have a very specific page for you. It's partner.snappykraken.com/IAMS. I'll drop it in the chat for you if I can. Use more than one channel to get noticed, folks. Optimize those landing pages, whether you're working with us or you're working on your own. Put that tripwire in there. Let them know you're here for a meeting. Segment your list of emails as you start to launch different offers. And that sweet spot number is 4.3 emails to your contacts per month. Now, because you were here with us today, we're going to make sure you get a few bonus deliverables, including this entire slide deck. You can look at it on your own time, and a few other things that we know will be helpful to you. And then again, if you're not yet a member, you want to learn more, you want to get discounted pricing thanks to the affiliation, and you want a personal demo of Snappy Kraken, we can go much deeper. We can learn about you, your needs. Then I ask you to go to partner.snappykraken.com/IAMS. And on this page, you can opt in, book a meeting with our team, and we'll make sure to follow up with you and book a one-on-one demo. I'll go ahead and stop here. It looks like I can't drop any link in the chat, folks. Thank you again, IAMS, for having me. Great webinar. Any of you that want to connect, partner.snappykraken.com. That's snappykraken.com/IAMS. For those of you that have dialed in only, that is how you can book some time with our team. We'll know you're coming from this network. We have a great relationship. We'll make sure that you get a discount if you're interested, and we'll learn more. Hope everyone has an awesome day.
Thank you, Diana. That was a wonderful presentation. Very much appreciated. We do have a couple of polling questions. I don't know if you can see them or not. Let me.
Yeah, I actually didn't see any questions come in.
Okay. Well, that about wraps it up then. If you have any questions, please reach out to any of the sales directors or to Snappy Kraken. Enjoy the rest of your week. And again, Diana, thanks for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.